Hello, and this is the No Direction Detailing Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Aaron.
So today we have a full menu,
What are we doing?
almost literally.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off talking about detailing. How long before we really get off the rails? Who knows? Because this is the No Direction Detailing Podcast.
Anything could happen here.
So we do want to talk about detailing first, and we want to talk about the importance of correction in today's world, paint correction, but not overcorrection, especially with the new vehicles. They're softer, thinner surface, clear coat. Their direction of transitioning from a solvent-based clear to water-based clear, which is safer for the environment, safer for the sprayer, but garbage and shit for your vehicle because it is so soft. And let me give you an example of why it's garbage. You can put paint protection film on a brand new car, and if it has a water-based clear coat, brand new, because it's so soft and that water base will give and separate from the color coat easily, if you have to change paint protection film off of a fresh, newer car, the clear coat may come with it, even if you're careful.
For those at home that don't know, how would you know if you have a water-based clear coat?
Anything from 2020 is when they started to transition from that water-based clear coat.
So it's pretty much industry standard now.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that the products that you're using for vehicles after 2020, you should probably evolve the process.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Evolve the process. Hey, evolve or die.
Evolve or die. Hey, speaking of which, to interrupt you real fast, we're here because of Thor, the House of Rags.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you already knew that because you're here watching. But at the same time, I do believe the BC line just made its way.
I believe it has launched and it is available if you're interested.
Make sure you hit the affiliate link down below to get to the House of Rags and buy all things Phoenix EOD and all things blue collar, the best of the best.
Well said.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to, you'll find in our podcast, we have a busy podcast. We're not just going to be sitting here the whole time throughout every podcast. We're going to be moving throughout the shop. We're going to be dancing and moving around.
Wow.
To keep you guys entertained and also kind of use vehicles as a prop.
There's always one.
That's the money
There's
line.
always one in every movie. There's always one.
That's the money line. And we want to maybe set up horses or use a car or a truck as an example for what we're talking about at the time. So we will be moving around. And right now we're going to move over to a car and start talking about the very topic we opened the podcast with today. And that is careful, responsible paint correction, what I would recommend, and just an overall tweaking of the way you do correction for yourself or for your shop with newer vehicles.
All right,
Let's get
started.
All right, so we're standing in front of actually a great example. This is getting close to 2020, and this has thin, soft, clear coat. And that's the nature of the beast with newer cars. For two reasons, not only just because of the water-based clear coat that we're transitioning to, but also at these dealerships, the manufacturers, the bean counters upstairs, they call down and, hey, let's spray less material on these vehicles. So primer, base coat, clear coat, all three layers are getting thinner. When you walk around with a paint depth gauge, you're getting around 4 mils, 3 mils, where it used to be 5.5 mils. So that's a great example. And this is a great example for exactly what we're talking about today. And that is to adjust your paint correction for today's vehicles and today's customers. Have you seen more direction as to people ordering your cutting or your finishing polishes, would you say? lately.
It's pretty 50-50.
A bit balanced.
Yeah, a really good balance. Definitely the waxes have definitely picked up, but we're not talking about that today. So
No, well, I asked that because as a great example, I do have Papa Cut here, which is his Phoenix's lines. I wouldn't call it a cutting compound. It's not very aggressive. It gets the job done if you team it up with the right
with
pad.
the right pad, and that was one of the things that we designed it for, was to be really pad dependent. If you needed to be a little bit more aggressive, firmer, harder pad. If you needed it to be a little bit more finesse, you can use obviously a softer. And the 50-50 Euros are just an absolute fantastic way good place to start.
Yes, and the fabulous finish, you can either step down to that or use that as, we use it for paint enhancement. So for those that don't know, a paint enhancement is where you take a softer pad, whatever pad matches the clear that you're working on, soft, if you're working on a Corvette, or some GM, some Ford that are really hard and stubborn, maybe a 50-50 pad, or Buff and Shine does make these microfiber finish pads. You can go foam as well.
What do you prefer? Do you like what do you like this versus foam? Like if you obviously when you pick and choose what weapon you're going to use, what's your determination? How do you determine what you like?
Well, I could tell you that the Urfiber 50-50 pad gets about 70% of the work done at our shop because of how versatile it is.
Right.
With both the fibers being polishing and cutting on here, you can do both. And it also it depends on the clear. Now, I have been showing this on my channel, by the way. There is a downfall to these lately, and they have started to delaminate. If you have too much excessive heat in the center, they start to delaminate a little bit. But because they are such great pads and they get so much work done for us, we still use them. So that pad there gets used a lot, and then we adjust to real soft clears. Then we'll adjust to something that's, maybe a light polishing pad, or if it's real harsh, we'll go to a wool or a microfiber cut pad.
Okay.
But what I want to get across is we hardly do any multi-step corrections anymore. It's very rare, maybe a few in a year's time, where when I first started detailing, we did mostly multi-step corrections. And I won't bullshit you, a lot of that was kind of feeding the ego to get things perfect before it left the shop, no matter what it did to the finish or the clear coat.
Well, I've had this conversation a lot with a lot of the viewers that hang out in our channels, and with Phil Miranda Detailing. He's a lot like that, where he knows that, well, this paint correction needs this, and I really could go after that, but I talked to the customer, and the customer didn't want it, and so now it becomes an issue of, time management and what the customer's paying for, and if you bring it to their attention and they still don't want it, sometimes you got to let them go.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two things that I would like to get across in this segment that are very important.
Okay.
Number one, customer expectations and what your customer really can see. I'm going to tell you that only between 2 and 5% of our customers would be able to see a lot of the swirls and scratches on their car. Heavy ones. And even a smaller percentage will see etching and other marks. So, a paint enhancement or a one-step is going to be the way to go on newer vehicles, especially with the owners that these are going back to. You're not correcting these cars unless it's yours. If you have a shop, you're correcting these cars, and you have to keep in mind they're going back into the hands of the owners the way they treat cars before they bring it to you.
Right.
How many of them do you think are going to change their method of wash?
Zero.
Well, maybe a small one.
Yeah, but people are pretty creatures of habit for the most part.
For the most part. Or they may start to do it and then they just venture right back into their old ways.
Sure.
So that car, in no time at all, is going to come back
Yeah.
For
I mean,
maintenance
you have
videos.
best intentions, but then like, oh, the game's gonna start soon, so I gotta hurry
just
up and
gonna go
get
through
it.
the tunnel wash.
Oh, it's gonna rain here in a half an hour, so I just gotta get it done. I'll do it right the next time. I'll
Yeah.
do it right the next time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So keep that in mind, and then keep in mind that these finishers are getting. Now, when I talk about transitioning from solvent-based harder clear coats to thinner, softer, water-based clear coat, I'm only talking about a transition of about 100% solvent to 66% solvent. So they didn't even drop below 50%, and this is where we're at already.
Right.
So between those two factors, what you should be doing the most right now are enhancements, one-steps, and I have both of those shown in great detail on my channel, and not just, this isn't just about my channel, they're on everybody's channel. It has a one-step or enhancement to show you. Phil has great videos doing that. Phil from Miranda's Detailing. But the importance of just a one-step or an enhancement and a multi-step only, if you're talking about a garage queen, a show car, or for that 1%er, that one customer that can see everything on his car that wants it perfect, I normally will have them sign off on paperwork that we are taking a lot of clear off doing multi-step, and then releasing reliability, and then we'll do it. We'll go as deep as they want. But just something I wanted to
How often do
get
you find
across.
yourself chasing dragons like that?
Not very often
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Not very often anymore.
Someone order some burgers?
All right, so guys, like I said, we do have a lot on the menu with this segment, and one of the other things we're going to be talking about the best burgers locally here on the East Coast in our area. We weren't going to travel to California for what do they call it?
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out
Jack in the Box is another one. Carl's Jr. is the third one that I know.
Hardee's, yeah.
Well, I think Hardee's and Carl's Jr., I could be wrong, but I think that they're owned by the same umbrella. They definitely have the same star on their logo. Carl's Jr. has the smiling star, and Hardee's has the smiling star. So I think that they belong to each other.
Copacetic.
But I know that you can't get Carl's Jr. this side of like the Mississippi for sure.
So we're going to be handed these burgers
Nice.
without knowing what they are. We'll probably know what they are.
Yeah.
You know, some of them or most of them.
For sure.
And then we'll taste them. We ordered these just as they are on the menu, as they come.
Except for one where I had to explain to them what we needed on there, and I'll explain it when we get to that.
Okay.
But I tried to mimic a McDonald's burger, like everything that was on a McDonald's burger, put it on this burger.
We're gonna guess where they came from. We're gonna taste them. We're gonna rank them.
We're gonna rank them.
Yes, and we're gonna wash them down with a cold one we have sitting over. Let's get to it. You ready?
Let's do it.
First round, right on.
All right.
Oh,
Look at
You
that.
are.
So right off the bat, you see the sesame seed bun.
yeah.
Sesame seed.
So that rules out McDonald's, unless you're getting a Big Mac.
Right. I was gonna say one of their buns has
Big Macs. I think maybe the Quarter Pounder does too. I can't remember.
And you have the melted yellow American
Yep.
going down the side there.
Pickle, ketchup.
Just two pickles with ketchup. I think
Just
I
two
know what
pickles
this
with
is
ketchup.
already without even biting into it. And because of the pattern I see on the burger,
Yeah.
there's a telltale pattern. The buns are toasted as well. Also noticing the patty's only, well, less than a quarter-inch thick. Only one thing left to do.
Give it a bite.
Give it a cheers.
Cheers.
Immediately, flame broiled. That's Burger King.
Yeah, you
That's
know
BK.
exactly. You signature taste.
Signature taste and signature grill marks. All right, as a burger growing up, when I went to Burger King, it was because of the Whopper.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got just a regular cheeseburger like this for the sake of a cheeseburger. What about yourself, Glenn?
Well, I really didn't experience a whole lot of Burger King growing up. They just weren't really predominant on military bases. So when I was exposed finally to Burger King and home of the Whopper, as a kid, I hated tomatoes. And so, I didn't know that you could do it your way, have it your way at Burger King, so I was
The
out.
Whopper was out.
The
Yeah,
Whopper
'cause
was
the
out.
Whopper,
You had to-
I love the onions and the tomatoes on the
Mm-hmm.
Whopper. This patty, all right, some burger joints, the burger, so salty, you can feel your blood pressure
Yep.
spiking already. This is sugary. I can taste the sugar in this meat to make it sweeter compared to other burgers. There's another burger, I think Five Guys is also salty as heck too. But
It's overall, it's a good burger.
overall, it's good.
Yeah.
And when you get that pickle mixed in towards the center, that gives it that pop in flavor.
Yep.
Very good.
Agreed.
All right, very good.
Burger King. Where are we going to rank this one?
Well,
Right now, it's in the first place for me.
yeah, right now it's only has one spot to be.
Brian, what goes better with dinner than a movie? Dinner and a movie,
Dinner or movie?
right? The ultimate date night.
I love movies. Yeah, absolutely.
We're both pretty big into movies. However, in this particular episode, we are going to be discussing horror movies. Which,
Not just horror movies. A niche within horror movies.
that's right, horror movies from the 80s specifically.
And important to me because that's kind of when I was growing into my own and watching some of the horror films for the first time.
Yeah.
And some of them really, really got to me. You know, we're going to go through the list.
Yep.
And I'll tell you the ones that really scared the living shit out of me as a kid. And some, and some that shouldn't be in this category at all.
Yeah, agreed. So, the genre is horror movies. Horror
But
movies.
by the way,
Yep.
we also have the prices
Oh,
for these burgers.
yep, right
we do
now-
want to compare that as well.
Right now, Burger King is coming in first place at $2.53.
Well, Wendy's is,
Right now, we haven't gotten there
yeah.
yet. You're reading ahead.
$2.53.
$2.53 for
in
this-
today's world, that's not bad for, a sweet tasting burger,
Yeah,
I guess.
I guess.
With everything
I remember.
else.
I remember. Hopefully, my parents aren't going to watch this. My dad had an ashtray that sat on his dresser in his room, and he filled it with change. That was where he kept all of his loose change. And I would sneak into his room, and I would take 90 cents out of that tray, and I would ride my bike to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger at McDonald's
McDonald's.
for
yeah.
89 cents.
Yeah, those were the days.
Right? All right. A horror movie is a film genre designed to elicit fear or dread in viewers by exploring dark subject matter, often featuring monsters, supernatural elements, or disturbing situations with the intention of creating a sense of psychological terror through suspenseful atmosphere and shocking imagery. Essentially, its aim is to tap into the primal fears and anxieties through narrative and visuals. Key elements to a horror film include intense fear response, dark themes, threatening characters, suspenseful atmosphere, jump scares, and vulnerable characters.
Now, within the genre of horror movies and then that pocket of 80s horror movies, they were either one of two things. They were either scary or they were cheesy to a point that they were just funny.
Awesome, right? Yeah. So to that, again, like the IPAs the last time we did this, I don't do horror at all. So what I did was I printed up a list from Entertainment Weekly, the top 15 80 horror films from Entertainment Weekly of the 80s. And then I called my buddy Ryan Hansen. You remember Ryan Hansen
Yeah.
from the Pay It Forward campaign. He's the chairman of the campaign. He is a horror nut, and he loves the 80s horrors in particular for those two reasons that you just said. It's either like over the top scary or over the top funny. I give you Army of Darkness. I think that one came out in the 90s, but Night of the Living Dead 2, which was its predecessor, was made to be funny, over the top horror, but still it still fits that category.
Yeah, and to me, they are still my favorite movies. With the crap movies that are out today, today's movies to me are just garbage. I still, when I want to watch a movie, go back and 80% of the time it's going to be an 80s horror movie that I stop on and
Really?
just hit that play button. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we do have a list, and with that list,
He's got his list. I have,
have your
I
list.
have, I have Entertainment Weekly's list, and then in lieu of me, I have Ryan Hansen's list.
and in lieu of this original list, I have a list that they left out,
Oh,
and I have a list that shouldn't even be in that category.
okay, that's fair. To be honest, I think I've heard of 3 of these on this top 15 list. I've literally heard of 3 of these, and maybe have watched 2 of them.
Yeah, the top couple, and I'm not sure if it's just a list of 15 or a list that they have in order. The top 3, I don't even know. I don't even remember.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm gonna start with 15 and go.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with the number 15 and go down to the number 1, according to Entertainment Weekly, the number 1 horror film of the 80s. So starting in at number 15, I have seen this one. I don't necessarily know if I saw it when it came out in 1982 because I would have been 8 and I probably would have, crawled back. Yep. Poltergeist.
This house is clear.
They're here.
Hey, this one scared the crap out of me, and then to add to that, a couple years later, when that young girl, tragically passed, to add to that.
Did she really?
Oh yeah, Heather.
The little blonde girl?
Yeah,
She
yeah,
died?
asthma. Yeah, she had a bad asthma attack, and yeah. So
I just remember Coach.
yeah,
I just remember Coach in
Craig
that.
T. Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, but yeah, at that point, I was 10, 11, 12 years. It scared the crap out of me. But that was a great movie. And the following movies, 2 and 3, how many did they make? 3. I think they made 3 more. The others went into a high rise and went way off the reservation. That first one, to me, is always going to have a place in my heart.
Sure.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Oh, I don't know how you would even. I suppose you could have more than one locale that would generate a poltergeist, right? A poltergeist is a type of ghost, right? Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it just got cheesy when they were,
Yeah.
Like
it was.
all
It wasn't. It
remakes.
was a house that was built on an old Indian cemetery or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, the original was built on
Indian burial ground.
sacred land.
Sacred
Yeah,
land.
Yep. Yeah, to me the remakes and the rollouts of 2, 3, 4 they can't stand up to the original. So
Okay.
all right, next on the list.
Number 14, Opera. 1987. Never heard of it.
I can't say that I've seen that and I remember it. If anybody in the audience,
A young opera singer on the cusp of stardom is hounded by a psychopath with a connection to her past who forces her to watch as he brutally murders her friends. Dun, dun, dun. Opera, 1987.
nope,
Never heard of it.
never been there.
This
if you
one.
have down in the comments section, let us know if that was a good movie and if it was scary.
Yeah. It looks like it got a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
All right, let's get to number 2.
Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984.
Freddy Krueger, absolutely. That one scared me as well. The original,
The
Johnny
original.
Depp was in that one, I believe. A
maybe.
very, very young Johnny Depp.
I just remember the girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Depp might have been in the. I mean, we were up to what, 10 of those already?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, that was for me. I think that was. There's there's the all-time 3, right? That as far as like what are they called? The Scream
The slasher.
slasher films.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this,
so they're a niche of you can almost break that down into a category of their own and have a lot to talk about. To me, these first 3, opera, take that out of there. These 2
Yep.
are almost like cult
I'm
classics.
surprised that they're so high on the list. You would think that it would be closer to the bottom.
They wouldn't be this high on the list for me.
Yeah. I mean,
I have a different list than that. But
yeah. We're not as cultured as Entertainment Weekly.
apparently not. I have no idea who compiled the list.
Yeah, you know, they probably have letters after their
A
names,
little,
and you know,
a little questionable. Yeah.
So Nightmare on Elm Street. The number coming in number 12 is Night of the Comet, 1987. Again, never heard of it.
I heard of it and I've seen it. I don't remember it quite all that well. Looks like we have our next round coming in, so we'll pause once again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so almost the same size and thickness without the sesame seeds.
Yep.
I think I already know what this is.
It looks pretty iconic.
You have the toasted bun
Toasted
again
bun.
on both sides. We have the yellow American cheese dripping down.
This is fun.
I'm going to be able
whatever's
to tell
going on
as soon
here.
as I
Whatever's going on here.
separate.
This is fun.
What is going on there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. So this one here also just has a pickle, but it does have mustard.
It has a pickle.
A pickle.
It has a pickle. It has mustard and ketchup. And it looks like this. These look like little onions. I'm going to say this is onion.
That gives it away from me.
Gives it a little.
That gives it away, no matter what it tastes like. I already know what this is.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mickey's, McDonald's.
100%.
Now the patty to me is going from the beef patty is it's thinner than Burger King, definitely. Visibly.
I don't know if it tastes good or if it's iconic to me from childhood.
Well, to me, we're going from a sweeter tasting patty to a more saltier. It has both. It has a little bit of sweet and salty.
Yeah, I think a lot of that sweetness comes from the bun.
That could, or, well, yeah.
I like the condiment ratio on the Burger King one better. Only having one pickle, I didn't get a bite out of that pickle.
Well, they're slimming down on the thickness of the patty for me. Is going to drop them down to second because
Agreed.
the more meat, the better.
Agreed. I'm gonna go. Yep. 1, 2. So far.
I'll keep them like that.
All right. Night of the Comet. A comet wipes out most of life on Earth, leaving 2 valley girls. That's so 80s.
And the director of that?
Leaving 2 valley girls fighting against cannibal zombies and a sinister group of scientists.
That's not a Romero film, is it?
I don't know. Dark comedy, parody, satire.
Oh, dark comedy?
That's what it says. They got a 6.3 out of 10, and you're looking for the director. Director is Tom Eberhardt, written by Tom Eberhardt.
I don't remember that one. I do not remember seeing that one. Anybody down in the comments?
2 valley girls fighting cannibal zombies. Is there any other kind of zombie? I challenge you.
That's a good question. What else would they want?
Vegetarian zombies don't seem very frightening.
No. I guess once all the cows have been removed from the planet.
I guess. Coming in at number 11, Near Dark. Ever heard of it?
I don't remember it. A lot of these I've seen once, and they haven't interested me to come back and watch them over and over again. Like some of these others.
So three in the top 15 all come out of 1987, including this one. A small-town farmer's son reluctantly joins a traveling group of vampires after he is bitten by a beautiful drifter. Almost dark. No, Near Dark, excuse me. It got a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Again, the Nightmare on Elm Street and Poltergeist. You put those together, they've been watched more than all of the other ones put together times 5.
Yep. Oh yeah, easily.
So I don't know if this list is really accurate as to
Yeah, I
chronological
would really
order.
love to know what their metric was to put this together. Because again, I don't know half of these, and the ones that I do know are like it takes a lot for even me to know about them because I don't watch horror. So if I've heard about them, they have to be doing better than
Now, we do have a couple in
Opera.
here that are cult classics that didn't become popular until 15, 20 years later.
That's fair.
But still, they're way down too far on the list.
Number 10, Hellraiser.
Oh, that's yeah, definitely. Pinhead, yeah.
Yeah.
And every movie he would introduce 4 or 5 of his slaves that would come with him, and they chains. That was, I really enjoyed the first 2, maybe first 2 or 3. Then after that, it got cheesy again and went into the future. All that goofy stuff they tried to introduce. That would be on my list too. That
Yeah.
would be on my list.
Wasn't there a ball that had like razors or something on it?
No, that was Phantasm.
Oh,
that was
Phantasm.
left out.
Yeah, that was not even on the
left
list.
out. Of
Phantasm, that's right.
The Tall Man, Phantasm.
Oh, number 3 in the house.
All
Oh,
right.
we got more seeded buns.
Okay, so this one looks exactly like
You would just like that, boss.
this one looks exactly like Burger King, but wider and thicker.
Yeah, definitely meatier, for sure.
We have no toasted bun. We do have ketchup and mustard.
There's a little toast on it. You can see that the edges
Okay,
edges
yeah.
is grilled, I
They
guess.
dropped it on there for a couple
Yeah.
seconds. The patty looks like those edged, shaped frozen patties.
Yeah.
Now, this one has pickles,
A lot of pickles.
mayonnaise, and onions on it. And that's standard because when we ordered these, we just right off the menu as they are shown. No special order.
It's heavier. It's definitely heavier than both of
It's
those
thicker,
guys.
it's heavier.
Oh, we forgot McDonald's. McDonald's was $2.99. So Burger King at $2.53. McDonald's at $2.99 for a cheeseburger.
Burger King.
Good gravy. So far, Burger King is
Cleanse the palate.
kicking the pants off of McDonald's. All right, let's do this.
Cheers.
It's definitely a bigger burger.
That's the thickness I like. Boop. Let's get a pickle in there.
Yeah.
All right, this one is a whole bunch of flavors going on here. The first one comes the pickle, and then the mayonnaise and the ketchup mix comes in next, and then the onions. I have yet to taste the patty.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm trying to just bite the.
I got a big chunk of the patty that time. It's not too salty, it's not too sweet.
But it's also not over the top flavorful.
No, it's just there.
Yeah. It's not really contributing.
It's not helping. It's not the centerpiece.
The meat is not the centerpiece.
The
of this.
meat should be the centerpiece.
No. I think it's better than the McDonald's, but I think it's not just from from taste alone. I don't think it beats Burger King.
I don't think it beats the other two. We're going to put those in order very soon, but what about price?
I don't know what it is.
That one is,
You think it's Five Guys?
no,
It's not?
Wayback Burger.
You think it's way back burger?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's Wayback Burger.
Well, let's ask the chef.
All right, we had to double check because I thought this was Wayback, and it's actually Five Guys.
Five Guys. Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
And wait till you hear the price.
Five Guys comes in at a very reasonable price of $9. Reasonable. And this is, by the way, this is a single patty. If you order a cheeseburger from Five Guys, it usually comes with a double patty. You can get the little cheeseburger, and since we were comparing it with the rest of these guys in the band, we went with the single patty at $9.39. $9.39 for a single patty. At
I'm
Five
sorry,
Guys.
but to me, we have Burger King, McDonald's in second, and that's not going to do it for me.
Yeah, I'm going to put it slightly ahead of McDonald's only because I got one. I didn't even eat it, but I got the one pickle, and that's just a shame. That's just sad.
First two bring back memories. I don't go to Five Guys a lot. When I go, I get the thicker one with their bucket of fries.
And the other thing is that I guess one of the advantages that Five Guys has as opposed to the other one is they have like 40 different toppings you could put on there, from barbecue sauces to raw onions versus
Peppers
grilled
and-
onions, mushrooms, peppers, relish. You can really do it up, and apparently it's infinite, so you can get a million toppings on this burger because you're obviously not eating it for the flavor of the burger.
I guess not. And I mean, normally, what I remember with Five Guys is being extra salty. That one didn't have a lot of salt in it. It must be the thicker ones that,
Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, well,
All right.
so far we're only halfway through.
Yeah, we're at only halfway through, and we're only a third of the way of our list. All right. How that compare? So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So now I got Ryan's list, and I have your. How many did you write down?
My list is those that are left out and those that are on the longer list that should be omitted because they're just silly. So I'll do my list then at the end.
Okay. All right. So coming in at number 10 was Hellraiser, 1987, followed by Fright Night.
Fright Night, okay, yeah.
1985, Fright Night. Never seen it, but I have heard of it for sure.
Yeah, so the actor, Vincent, I can't remember the names, but great movie. It gets cheesier the older you get. When I was young, I thought it was,
Chris Sanderson?
no, the older guy, Roddy McDowell.
All right.
Yep.
Yep. Sees a teenager believing that the newcomer in his neighborhood is a vampire. He turns to an actor in television hosted horror movie shows for help to deal with the undead.
Charlie Brewster. Yeah, absolutely. If I pass over it, most of the time I'm going to skip over that one. They do have a remake that is with not Colin Farrell. Maybe it is Colin Farrell, and that was absolutely horrible. Maybe that ruined it for the original. A lot of them do when they do a remake that's bad. It just.
I can think of Total Recall when they redid that one.
Oh yeah.
RoboCop when they redid that one. Yeah, just terrible. So according to Ryan, House is on his top of his list.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you familiar with House?
I'm familiar with that one.
Other than the Doctor, I am not.
No, not that's not even close.
No.
Nobody popping Viking in that.
A
Movie.
troubled writer moves into a haunted house after inheriting it from his aunt. Wow, that sells it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Six-
I can pass over that without hitting the
We got
play
a
button.
6.1 on IMDb.
The next one on his list, I kind of put more in the silly because
Okay.
it's funny, but I loved it.
All right, on his list, well, on this one, so that was number 9, right? Number 9, Fright Night, 1985, and then he did House. So we're going to number 8, Friday the 13th, Part 4, The Final Chapter.
Yeah, whoever did this list is on some, or should be on some serious drugs.
1984. I mean, I would have thought that would have been so much later than that, because if it was The Final Chapter, how are they still making those movies?
The earlier ones to me were the best. Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees, and then Mike Myers was Halloween, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, now that one fits in with like the category of Nightmare on Elm Street and Poltergeist.
Slashers, yeah.
Very, very popular. Well, I mean,
Iconic.
Poltergeist wasn't a slasher, but you know.
Yeah, but they are iconic horror movies, sure.
Yeah, true iconic.
He has Return of the Living Dead,
Yeah, so
1985.
that to me that would be more in my silly kind of category.
Okay.
The braids. They were real goofy.
Over the
It was
top.
more satire.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved it though. Plenty of gore. I watch it every time I come across it. So yeah, absolutely. The next one on his list is my absolute favorite. I would have that number 1.
Okay.
on any horror list from the 80s.
Well, on Entertainment Weekly, that number 7 is Evil Dead 2, 1987.
Not Evil Dead 2. For me, Evil Dead, that was in the 80s too, I believe.
But apparently, so if I remember correctly, and I could be completely wrong, you had Evil Dead, which was supposed to be a serious horror movie, and it did horribly. And so Sam Raimi did Evil Dead 2 as a remake of it and made it more cartoony. That's when they brought in Bruce Campbell and made it a little bit sillier and a little bit whatever. And then the sequel after that was Army of Darkness, where even though it's the third movie, it's supposed to be the second movie because they kind of redid the first movie with the second movie.
Yeah, and I would prefer the latter of the two.
The not silly one.
With Bruce Campbell.
Oh.
Yeah, I would prefer the silly one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm good, Ash. I'm bad, Ash.
I mean,
Good,
I watch,
bad.
they do.
I'm the guy with the gun.
They continued it on TV. It's a series. I don't know if they're still doing it. Ash versus, or what's it called?
Yeah.
But, yeah, absolutely. Looks like he has another round. Now, this, I already know what these are.
Oh, we know what these are. These are iconic.
This is, yeah.
Easy guess.
Everybody should know what they are, including Harold and Kumar. So these are always going to be with their not raw onions, their grilled onions and the cheese, and then with that patty and the bun. It is a very unique taste. When I was young, we had more of these around. They seem to be a dying franchise in my area anyway.
Yeah, there's one still in Brick, New Jersey. It's about an hour or so away from my house. When I first started doing that territory in sales, I was like, oh, White Castle, let me check it out.
Yeah.
I think the South has Crystals, which is it's very, very similar, but it's called Crystals, and I think it's a red restaurant versus the blue White Castle.
Yeah, and a lot of these chains are really having some serious trouble, so
Yeah.
a lot of them might be packing it in soon. But, well, without further ado, cheers.
Cheers.
To me, these always had a unique taste, and I always favored these. Without hesitation, White Castle
Is your number one?
goes to the front of the line for me. Yes.
You are bananas.
Yeah. I used to eat multiple orders of those, even my skinny ass. Beautiful, beautiful burger.
It's not bad.
No.
I mean,
And 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
shockingly, it's not bad.
Picture 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when your blood alcohol content is 2.3. They're even better.
The flavor profile works. I think the onion overpowers the whole thing.
The grilled onion compared to the raw onion makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
This is McDonald's. This is 5. Burger King is still holding its place for me.
Well. So we have a little bit of a change in direction. So for me, it's going to be White Castle, Burger King, McDonald's, and Five Guys.
Now,
And we still have 2 to go yet.
we have 2 patties here. I guess the chef thought that the 2 White Castles was the equivalent of the other burgers. So a singular White Castle burger comes in at $1.17. So we'll double that for the 2, making it $12.34.
$2.34.
That's what I meant. $2.34. So
That puts it in number one for price, too.
It puts it at number 1 for price as well. $2.34, $2.49, $2.53, and $9.39.
Best bang for the buck. Isn't that weird how it works out? The most expensive one
Yeah.
to me anyway, is last.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, I know that I love a McDonald's cheeseburger. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because like I'm eating it right there as it comes out of the drive-through or whatever it is. Maybe this one just wasn't prepared with as much love as other McDonald's cheeseburgers, but I know iconically I do love this burger. And it perhaps it's just
That's just
perhaps it's just,
planted up.
it's just this one that is just not hitting the mark. I don't know.
Could be. Very well could be. But, yeah, White Castle takes it.
It's a very good burger.
All right. So,
All right, so now we're down
back to the list.
Evil Dead 2, 1987, to his The Thing, 1985.
Overall, #1 horror movie, a true horror movie from the 80s with the absolute best special effects that aren't CGI. If I come across that movie in any single way while I'm searching, it's going to play in full. And my son can attest to that. I watch it every Halloween and 16 times in between. Kurt Russell, just excellent actors. The acting was great. The special effects. I think it was Tom Savini's special effects team. Tom Savini from the Dead movies, the Romero Dead movies. The acting and the location.
Oh, yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere in the Antarctic. And it's just it's a great movie, a great concept. The concept of the alien was really cool too, and original for that time.
Yep.
That movie scared the crap out of me when I saw it, and it still does it for me today with all the other movies. Now they didn't remake it; they made a prequel to kind of explain what happened up to the point where it starts. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It starts with somebody chasing after a dog in a helicopter in the beginning, and they made a movie kind of filling the information in up to that point. It was all right. They went to CGI. CGI to me sucks.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. Spoiler alert. Do you think he was infected?
At the end, so Childs or I'm going to say they shared the bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
So if one of them was affected, they were not worried about an attack from the other. And the alien is always, even down to each cell, and you could say that each cell was an alien, it wanted to protect itself. So I'm going to say that no, neither one of them were.
All right.
There have been arguments.
I know. That's why I brought it up.
That both of them were, or one or the other wasn't. Let me know down in the comment section if you're a huge fan of The Thing. If both of them were, both of them weren't, or one of them was.
Right.
To me, Childs, I know he went off into the, and how can you survive that? But I don't think either of them were infected. Beautiful. I love that movie. I could talk about that one forever.
And we probably will.
Absolutely.
All right. Evil Dead 2, The Thing. Number 6, Dead and Buried, 1981.
Now, I did see that a couple times, and it doesn't, I could pass over that when I'm scrolling through movies, and it doesn't bother me not to see it. So that would be way down on my list.
Way up on your list, right?
Well, this list is backwards.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sorry. That's 2004. Dead and Buried, 1981. Yep. All right. Sheriff Dan Gillis investigates eerie deaths in a sleepy coastal town.
One of those movies, do you ever come across movies where they're good to watch once, and then, you enjoyed it, you enjoyed everything about it, but come across it again, it's just like, eh.
Right. I have a couple of movies like that are, because they're so heavy, like I would never want to watch it again. But
Seems like work.
I'm glad that I watched it, but it's just like, I don't think I could sit through that for another 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
that was a tough one. Ryan has The Fog, 1980.
Yeah, I do like that one a lot. I will watch that one quite a few times in a year. I enjoy the premise. And there is a remake of that as well that is,
Yeah.
I would never watch it again. But it was
Local
okay.
legend tells of a ship lured onto the rocks in Antonio Bay being enveloped by a supernatural cloud as it sank. The myth says that when the mysterious fog... my phone just went weird. The mysterious fog returns, the victims will rise up from the depths seeking vengeance. All right, there you go. The
Yeah,
fog.
it's good.
All right,
It's good.
I'll take your word for
It
it.
looks like we have another round coming in.
Yeah.
Not done yet.
I'm going to have to eat salads for the next 6 days.
I tell you right now, I know exactly what this one is. You can tell by the square
Well,
burger. The
it-
square burger gives it away.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like McDonald's without lifting up and seeing that square burger.
Yep.
What do we have left? So we have.
We have two more.
Oh,
left.
okay. Forget it.
No, we only have one left.
Wendy's.
This is Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The square patty.
The square patty. This is a junior cheeseburger because Wendy's does a single, which is a Dave's burger, and it has a whole bunch of like lettuce and tomato and a bunch of other things on it. But to make it compared to these other two smaller cheeseburgers, like the Burger King and the McDonald's, I went with the junior cheeseburger.
A good taste to it. Mm-hmm. Now they pump that up by adding mustard to it, a lot more mustard than the others will, which gives it a different taste.
I like the raw onion bite.
Their patties are saltier, so this has a pretty good taste to it. Let me go in for another one.
Yep.
By the way, the shop manager, she gave up. She started this video watering at the mouth, and now she's just sleeping. She gave up on us. Believe me, you will get a bite of the burger, sweetie.
I like it. I like the onion. I like the pickle. Mm-hmm. The mustard gives it a nice punch. Yep.
It has some good balance. Mm-hmm. To me, I'm telling you where that's going. Numero dos.
Yep, that's the same for me too. Still unable to dethrone the king.
There's only one here where I'd be like, I don't care if I ever have that again.
Yeah.
I'm not a big burger guy to begin with, but
Oh, I love a good burger.
White Castle, Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, and actually I can't even remember. It's
Well, so there's three
Five
things.
Guys.
Three things on this list that I want to talk about. The first one, well, let's go. Wendy's $2.49. So still not as cheap as the two White Castles at $2.34. So, but we have $2.53 for the Burger King, $2.49 for the Wendy's, $2.34 for the White Castle, $9.39 for the Five Guys, and $2.99 for McDonald's. So right now, like we're eating like kings for less than $3.
yeah. Hey. All right. Moving.
Oh wait, I
right-
wanted to say something about this list. First and foremost, as much as I love you, we had to we had to get the White Castles from the freezer section of a grocery store. So technically, but anyway. And then as far as Five Guys is concerned, I don't necessarily know if I can consider
All
Five
right,
Guys
but
to be.
wait, since you started it, to me, and you have them pretty far up too.
Yeah.
That being
I'm
number
spli-
one
I
for
am-
me,
I'm
and that
split-
being number two, and
I'm
they
s-
were frozen. What
I'm
does that
s-
tell you for
I'm
the fresh
splitting
ones?
I'm splitting hairs. I
See?
am splitting hairs. You're absolutely right. You are hands down absolutely right. When you go to next time you come down, we'll drive up to Brick together and we'll have fresh. They come in that carton of 12 or something like that. 12 sliders in a carton.
Still probably won't hold a stick.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And then Five Guys. I don't know if I can consider Five Guys to be fast food either, because I place the order and then they make the patties right then in front of you and all that stuff, and it took about, I don't know, I'd say 10 minutes to get it. So is it considered fast food? And then last but not least, my folks, they love going to the Dairy Queen for burgers, and so I was really excited to try. I've never had a Dairy Queen cheeseburger before, and what I'm told is, as far as the fast food line is concerned, it's one of the best. But your Dairy Queen is just is the old-fashioned Dairy Queen.
Yeah, just ice cream, shakes, floats,
And hot dogs.
hot dogs, and fries.
Yeah, you have to go to a Dairy Queen grill and chill to get the burgers.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I can't say that I've had a Dairy Queen burger. So
Yeah, now
a
I'm
shot.
on. I love Freddy's. Freddy's burgers are awesome. I love Freddy's. I think if we're going to do Five Guys, we have to add Freddy's to that list. If we're doing Five Guys, I think Smash Burger needs to be on the list. If we're doing Five Guys, I think Steak and Shake has to be on that list. But I haven't seen a Steak and
Shake
Shake.
Shack.
Shake Shack, that's another good one. But I haven't seen a Steak and Shake since Pittsburgh. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, they come and go, so it's hard to keep up.
All right, top five. Let's just go to top five. Day of the Dead, 1985.
So, Day of the Dead, that is George Romero. That is the third film in that series, Day of the Dead. So it was Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. What year?
This is 1985.
Yeah, 85. So Day of the Dead was held underground in Florida in a missile silo underground research center. I love the movie. Not a whole lot of people do, with Night of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead being so popular.
Night of the Living Dead, wasn't that filmed at the Monroeville Mall in Pittsburgh?
They were all done in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania, except for Day of the Dead, which was mostly in Florida.
Oh, okay.
It was an underground. No, a lot of their above ground scenes were in Florida. Their underground bunker was I think an old salt mine or something in the Pittsburgh area, an old mine underground.
Yeah, I know Night of the Living Dead is iconically cult classic.
That's one movie I've probably seen 100 times by now, literally. That one and Dawn of the Dead. I am a huge George A. Romero fan. My son and I went out to the Monroeville Mall to. We missed one of their meet and greets, but we were out there at the location, to cruise around. Huge fan, and that was. That movie scared the crap out of me. Day of the Dead, I don't think it was quite as popular as his other ones.
Okay. Top five for Brian is, we've already pretty much gone over them, so he gives these definitely much more weight like you did. Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street, Poltergeist, those are in his top five. I definitely love these next two. According to Entertainment Weekly, number 4 is Creepshow. Thanks for the ride, lady.
Yeah.
Thanks for the ride, lady. Oh, that's the best. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Ted Danson gets drowned in the sand.
I can't argue with that. Today, passing over that movie, and if there's The Thing, or if there's Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead, and some of the other ones we're going to get to here, I let Creepshow go.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, that was
I
great.
was going to say, for me, because I like I said, everything scared me. My brother loved to just, my brother is a jump scare. He'd hang out in closets, he would do whatever, and just scare the bejeebas out of me every chance he get. My dad was a pilot in the Marine Corps, and so he had a lot of old pilot gear laying around, flight jackets and helmets and air masks and stuff like that. And my brother, he would sneak into my room in the middle of the night, and we have these clothes trees. You know what a clothes tree is? Basically, it's a big pole with a bunch of hooks on it that you can hang all your clothes. So he'd have these clothes trees, and he would dress up the clothes tree in like my dad's flight suit with the helmet, and in the dark. It's all in the dark, and then like he'd smash the bottom of my bed, and the thing would be coming down, and it looked like this monster was. I mean, just terrorized me. Every chance he got. So maybe that's why I don't do horror movies. I do remember in the the late 70s, I was still real young, there was a movie called Gargoyles. And I remember seeing the commercial for Gargoyles, and it terrified me. I mean, nightmares for months from this commercial. And I was young. I was real young. I was probably less than 4, seeing these commercials for gargoyles, this horror movie. Remember Chud? That was another one.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah. So I just from ground zero, I've tried to avoid horror.
Chud, Pumpkinhead, there were so many more. And I have a list over here. What was left out? That was just a partial.
All right, so we'll just hammer through these last ones. The Changeling, 1980.
Yeah, no, not for me.
Do you know what it is?
Nope.
You don't know what it is?
Nope.
All right.
If I've seen it, I sure is. Don't remember it.
1980, George C. Scott. Wow. After experiencing tragic personal losses, a music professor rents a Seattle mansion haunted by a slain boy.
I don't think I've seen that at all.
Well,
Or if I have, it was
they rank it
wrong.
number 3. Number 2, The Burning, 1981.
No,
No, never.
not for me.
Okay, The Burning. 1981, Brian Matthews. Abusive former summer camp caretaker Crosby, horribly burned from a park gone wrong 5 years earlier, lurks around upstate New York summer camp Stonewall. It kind of sounds like a remake of Friday
Yeah,
the
no,
13th.
not for me.
All right.
Not on any.
And then number 1 on their list of Entertainment Weekly's list, The Beyond.
Nope, not for me.
Again, I've never heard of any of these. The Beyond. If you've heard of any of these and you like them, let us know in the comments section. 1981, The Beyond. A young woman inherits an old hotel in Louisiana, Jamie, where following a series of supernatural accidents, she learns that the building was once built over one of the entrances to hell. How about that? Huh? I think that's quite. I think.
I'm glad we're done with that list.
Yeah,
Whoever
that
did that,
All right, now I will agree with these two on Ryan's list. His number 3 is The Shining.
The Shining.
I know. The Simpsons did a remake. You want to get sued, boy? Call it The Shining.
Here's Johnny. Yeah, absolutely. I had that on the list of what should have been on that last list.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I mean, that is iconic.
Wait till you hear some of these. You're going to be like, yeah, what?
And then number 1 on his list is Aliens.
Yeah, hard. To me, that's sci-fi.
Yes, it is sci-fi, but I would say as a kid, when we first watched, my dad's, do you remember it was an egg? And there was a little baby in the egg in the commercial and stuff like that. My dad had no idea what it was. So we had the old Beta machine. Not the VHS, but the Beta machine, because it came out first and it was better quality and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and it didn't take off at all. So we had the Beta machine. The very first movie that he brought home was Alien. Well, this is Aliens, so this is the sequel, because Alien was the first one. Alien was definitely horror. Aliens is definitely sci-fi. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But the first one was terrifying.
Yeah, I have them. I have the chronological order of all the Alien movies. I forget how it goes. I haven't written down,
Yeah.
but all the way up to Prometheus and the newest one.
And then honorable mentions, Night of the Creeps is a great movie. There are a bunch of people that will think of like Night of the Living Dead or The Exorcist, but they were not from the 80s, so they didn't make the list.
Didn't make the list. Well, we have one more burger coming in, and then I'm going to follow up with what should have been on the list and what
Thank you.
should have been taken away from that longer list. Wow, what is this?
Well, by default, we know what it is.
Yeah,
But
but-
I
yeah.
would tell you, this is the first time I've laid eyes on this. It's got looks like a brioche or a split top bun.
Yeah, the only thing that's unique about this one is the bun with the split top.
It's got a decent amount of pickles. Looks like it's got some
It's got
onions,
the onions. It's got
mustard,
lots
and
of mustard
ketchup.
and ketchup. It should be popped full of flavor.
Yeah,
Let's find out.
let's find out.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother. The initial
Those
hit,
are raw onions, and I love the crunch of the raw onions.
the initial hit is all mustard though. It's all mustard.
I didn't get as much mustard as you did.
Yeah.
The patty has a sweet taste to it.
I agree.
If it would be a true brioche bun, it would be close to number one. Oh boy. It's not bad. To me, it's going to be number two.
Really? Wow.
So guys, this is Wayback Burger.
Yeah, Wayback Burger. Coming in at $5.79.
Yeah, you're going to pay for that. It is a bigger burger compared to. It's on the same size level as
Five Guys.
Five Guys.
So this is the Five Guys burger. It's definitely before the Five Guys. So,
Big difference.
big difference. I got Burger King remained number one, stayed on top. Wendy's, White Castle, and again, splitting hairs because they were both really good. I think they both have really iconic flavors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You recognize what a Wendy's burger tastes like. You recognize what.
By its look and its taste, easily.
So splitting hairs. Then way back, Five Guys, and unfortunately, McDonald's just kept getting pushed down the lane.
Yeah, totally rejected. For me, White Castle, Wendy's. Which one is this? The Wayback?
Nope. This is way back. That's Wendy's.
Oh yeah, Wayback, Wendy's, and
Burger King.
the Burger King, McDonald's, and
Five Guys.
yeah, this one here, not going to do it for me.
Yeah, I went back to it, and I still nothing. What a disappointment too.
Maybe a location to location that changes, and I hope it's better
Yeah.
for other people. But there you go. That's going to be it for the burgers.
One of the things that I do like at Five Guys when I get my burger, you get the sautéed mushrooms. But again, if we're ranking these on like the meat burger flavor itself, it didn't have it. It doesn't have any flavor. Shame.
As a kid, I did have a family member that used to like to go there. That brings back a lot of memories, and I don't know if the memories and the taste goes hand in hand. Why you favor that? But McDonald's, as a kid, I used to get the 2 cheeseburger meal. Mm-hmm. Now, and I don't hardly go to any of the fast food places anymore, but if it would be Burger King, it would be Whopper and then the Big Mac. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even bother with the cheeseburgers. But
now I have reason. My son really loves McDonald's, and so when he came and was helping me in the warehouse, he was always shooting across the street to McDonald's, and I had him bring back the Quarter Pounder Deluxe.
Oh yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got all those things that we want. It's got the tomato. It's got lettuce.
The diced raw onion.
Yeah, raw onion. And then they started to actually season their patties. So now the patty itself actually has flavor. So that Quarter Pounder with cheese deluxe is really, really good. Anyway.
That was fantastic. It brought back a lot of memories. Let's just finish up here.
Yeah, I want to hear
we
what
are
The
on the home
Godfather has
stretch.
to say about the horror films.
We're on the home stretch. They left out some of the most important films of the 80s when it comes to horror. And number one next to The Thing, maybe 1A for me, would be Christine. How in the hell do you leave Christine out?
I didn't see. Oh, he did have Cujo, which was on the list.
Yeah.
Cujo, yeah.
Yeah. Christine.
Yeah, none of the Stephen King stuff on there. I remember. Would you consider Sleepwalkers to be a horror?
Not really, but it was. It was all right.
It was weird. It was definitely weird. Aliens taking over, and the cats could see them. And
Yeah.
sorry. Wait, Christine. Yeah, Christine. There's the demon car, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then before that, I mean, Christine. That's not a unique idea. You had the car from the 1970s. If anybody remembers the car, that was I forget what that was. That was a custom, and then the Wraith. So you had the car, the Wraith, and then Christine. All of these cars had a mind of their own. I don't know how they can omit that from any list. You have a John Carpenter theme with the music, all that creepy music. It just.
The Plymouth Fury
Yep.
is the model of automobile that was produced by Plymouth.
1968 Plymouth Fury. Is it a 68?
It is a 1958.
58, yeah.
58 Plymouth Fury.
Yeah, the fins, 50s and fins. Yeah, that was great. The car is great. The movie's great. Let me see. We talked about The Thing and The Shining, and Phantasm. You talked about that. That's the one with the balls.
Oh, yeah.
The tall guy.
Yeah.
And what sticks in my mind with that movie was the 1972 Barracuda with the slam shifter that was in most of those movies. That thing, they put that iconic car in those movies to bring a lot of people back. I think that was in through all of the movies except for maybe the last one. Maximum Overdrive, 1986.
Maximum Overdrive.
Emilio Estevez.
Emilio!
How could you not? Just awesome. Awesome movie. American Werewolf in London scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, too. 4. Lots of gore. Lots of blood. Lots of gore in that one. My Bloody Valentine. And
What was My Bloody Valentine about?
so that was down a coal mine, a coal miner, and I know he had the helmet on. He was killing people with a pickaxe. I don't know who the actors or the...
It was also remade in 2009.
Yeah. Again, the remakes suck. So,
A decades-old folktale surrounding a deranged murderer killing those who celebrate Valentine's Day turns out to be true to the legend when a group defies the killer's orders and people start turning up dead.
Yep, another good one. And now we're going to go to a list that shouldn't have been on. He had 15 here. It was longer.
Yeah, it was 25 total. We had to cut it because it was just ridiculous.
He had movies on there that should not be on that list.
First of all, it's not me. I just copied and pasted
Yeah,
from,
well, I mean,
from Entertainment Weekly. You would think they would know what they were talking about.
And that goofball needs to be fired. So, Lost Boys. Iconic movie.
Yeah.
Horror?
Well, it's a vampire.
A good
This is
movie.
supernatural. According to the definition, supernatural.
You got Corey Haim, you got Corey Feldman, you have Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland, yeah.
You have Bill from Bill and Ted's.
It's still one of the best soundtracks.
Yeah, great movie. But horror, it just doesn't come to me. The Fly, Jeff Goldblum.
It's on
From The Fly.
That was one of his. Yeah.
Okay. Horror, sci-fi to me.
Throws up and then sucks it all back up.
Yeah, that's sci-fi to me.
All right.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's Brian's favorite movie right there.
It's because he is a killer clown.
I watch it every time I come across it, and I put it on just to piss him off because he hates that movie.
Oh, he hates it.
He actually.
Oh, I
really
thought you
hates
actually liked it.
it. He liked it at first, but I play it so much it rubs him the wrong way now.
All right.
Gremlins. He had Gremlins on that. That is not a horror, guys. Gremlins, is that a horror? Would you classify? I don't know what you would. I would say.
I know that if you go to IMDb, it definitely is classified as a horror film.
I always had it under comedy because I laughed my balls off watching it. And then finally, just to wrap this thing up, Beetlejuice as horror?
No. Are you kidding me?
He had Beetlejuice on the list.
That is.
I'm the ghost with the most.
That is a stretch. I mean, that is not even. You can barely put that under dark comedy. It's just comedy.
Yeah. Like I said, this.
My favorite is the social worker. And she's smoking, and the smoke is coming. She cut her throat. She cut her throat, and the smoke's coming out of her throat instead of coming out of her mouth. It's awesome.
That brings back a lot of memories. That was fun. The cheeseburgers were fun. Anything to add today before we wrap up the show?
No, I mean, it's interesting to me, like going back to the very beginning of the show, when we're discussing exactly what defines what a horror movie is. You know, to go back, like, you know, in my brain, horror is more of the jump scares and the slashers and lots of blood and lots of gore, and that's not the same as suspense or psychological thriller. I love psychological
drama, thrillers, yeah.
Like I really enjoy those, but I don't do jump scares, and quite frankly, the slasher stuff doesn't really do anything for me either. And then, of course, as we've progressed as a society, now that there's the Saw movies, and where it is just trying to be as gruesome and gory as possible. I think that's kind of what's taken. Like you're not going to be able to compare what is happening in Saw or Human Centipede or any of that other stuff to this kind of stuff in the 80s.
My son and I went to watch a couple of the newer ones like Smile, and what were some of the other real? I mean, it was
Purge.
No.
The Purge.
They're more creepy and sick than anything else. I didn't enjoy them.
Yeah.
They had no character to them. The new movies.
Yeah, I'm not like the whole super abusive stuff. I'm surprised Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't on this list.
No.
Isn't that considered a iconic?
Yeah, that one
cult?
should be. That one should be too.
Amazing.
I'm missing some as well, but
yeah. Again, if there's one that we haven't talked about, we'd love to hear your comments. Again, we want to develop this podcast based around you guys. So start using the email. We want to do a mail call. We want to do all of those things. Yep. The House of Rags, is able to put us on here, and we can discuss anything and everything that we want. We got permission to be as carte blanche as possible. Send us an emails, nodirectiondetail@gmail.com.
No direction detail.
We will read your emails. We will talk about the subject matters that you want to talk about. I know Becca Green, she wants us to give out little teasers of the stuff that we're going to be ranking. If there's something that you want us to rank and try, we'll do it from anything. It could be candy bars. It could be you brought up 90 different flavors of Doritos yesterday when we were discussing what we were going to do.
Endless.
It's endless. It's no direction. We can do anything we want. Send us your emails. Put it in the comment sections.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. We'll do anything. So.
And I do want to finish up. We started on detailing. I want to finish up there. I want you guys to think about what we said at the beginning. When it comes to if you do this for a business or you want to take care of your own car, think about it before you jump into the paint correction. Think about an enhancement or a one step, and is it worth going further and really digging into that paint? Yeah, I know there's a lot of videos and YouTube channels that are pumping out, do what it takes to get to perfection, even down in the comment section, as I am pushing lately to stay less aggressive and do less aggressive things. I'll always have that one or two down in the comment section. Oh, I would have done that and got rid of that scratch completely, no problem. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe, but why? You're releasing that back to somebody who's going to have a scratch there again in that same place, probably within a couple weeks. Just something to think about.
If they want to get more of you, where can they find you?
All right, so if you do want to see more, the Auction Car Reconditioning channel, which has been rebranded from the Apex Detailing channel, shows just exactly what we were talking about. Because if you're flipping cars, you don't want to put a ton of time into them. You want to get them looking gorgeous, incredible, with the least amount of effort, money, and shaving the clear coat, because these cars are going to be sold and sent to owners that you just don't know are going to take care of them at all. I will have a link down in the description box as well to the channel.
90% of all the detailing knowledge that I have has come from you, watching you and your show, coming to your shop in the studio, especially when you're doing your seminar weekend classes. So that's the place to go if you want to learn a little bit more from one of the masters in the industry. And then we have another podcast every other Saturday, Curmudgeon's Corner. You can find that on our Phoenix channel on YouTube, Phoenix EOD.
I have been lucky enough to grace the
couple of
airwaves
times.
of Curmudgeon's Corner. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah, and now this is so much more fun. It really is. I love sitting here with you. I love doing this. I love doing this, especially the last 2 shows. I don't have any knowledge in any of that stuff, so this is a lot of fun for me. One day
Yes.
we're going to be hitting on something that I am a complete
next-
freak on.
Yeah, and I won't have any
Yeah.
idea, and we're not doing Star Wars, so
We're not doing Star
we're not
Wars.
doing Star Wars. No Star Wars. All right, guys, this has been fun. The shop manager is dying to get her chompers into some of these cheeseburgers, so we're going to call it an evening. Love you all. Catch you later.
Thanks for coming out.